Hello and welcome to episode 137 of the Perth to Paisley podcast, a podcast dedicated to Heart of Midlothian Football Club. The feel-good factor down Gorgie Way appears to have evaporated. I am one of your hosts, Adam Kennedy, looking to lift your spirits, as is Daniel McIver. What's happening, McIver?
All right. How are we doing after the past week?
Dyer, how are you?
I'm doing great. For people who follow me on Twitter, they'll know I didn't give a shit about the weekend's game as I was in London for All In and having one of the best days of my life, as Hearts had one of the worst results of my life. But actually, it's quite normal that we lose up there. So I'm going to apologise right now. I've not seen the team that we lined up with, and I've seen the goal that we conceded. Thursday night, I'll be able to be really insightful and give loads of thoughts. For the Dundee game,
there's a first.
Exactly. It's a very rare occurrence, but I feel like I can rise up to it. For the Sunday game, I'm going to be absolutely useless. So we're going to rely on you and your expert. So it's a first for both of us, basically. How are you?
We are in grave trouble. Just that weekend watch was a really tough one. But our midweek match was actually quite entertaining, albeit it eventually ended, as it always does, in heartbreak.
It was infuriating as well.
As only Hearts could do. So, yeah, let's get into that first. I kind of want to touch on Scottish clubs in Europe because obviously we might not be in Europe for much longer. So I wanted to get your kind of thoughts on the first leg results elsewhere. Obviously, there's 4 Scottish clubs all competing in playoffs. Rangers in the Champions League playoff, they drew 2 each with Dutch giants PSV Eindhoven at Ibrox in their first leg. Then the Wednesday night was great entertainment, and the Europa Conference League, as Hibernian were swept aside by Aston Villa at 5-0 at Easter Road. And then the Thursday night obviously saw our game with POAK, and Aberdeen recover from 2 goals down to hold reigning Swedish champions BK Häcken in Gothenburg. So they've got it all to play for at Pittodrie. Aberdeen are pretty much the only ones that I deem favourites to go through, really. Rangers is going to be a tough task. Hibs are obviously out. We could, but it would take a miracle. Aberdeen are the only ones that could, really. And then Europa League, I kind of see this as a win-win. Obviously, it keeps the coefficient alive, but they're going to have a tougher calibre of opponent. They're almost certainly going to finish bottom of their group, but even if they don't, if they finish third, then they could drop into the conference. So we're prolonging them being involved on a continental front, and hopefully we can take advantage domestically. What's your thoughts?
I'll tell you right now, we're not going to take advantage of anything on the current
I was going to say, given we've got such a strong track record of doing so, maybe, yeah.
I agree with you. I think Aberdeen will be the only team to go through from Scotland because they drew 2-2. And I saw at the weekend Häcken got battered domestically, I think it was. I think they lost like 4-0 or something like that.
Oh, so doing your research. Big on your Swedish football, isn't it? Ever since pushing Cifuentes for the Hearts job.
I've kept my eye on it. I'm on board. I'll be very, very surprised if at Pittodrie they don't win. I know domestically they look minging, but
terrible.
I think they'll get it done. Rangers, it was weird. I only managed to see the highlights of the Rangers game. I didn't manage to watch it fully, but it very much felt like Rangers would do well for ages, get a goal, and then immediately just concede. And it was like, all right, okay, we're back to square one again. And then I just can't see them going across there and get... I mean, if they do, fair play to them, but I just think they look quite frail at the back.
Did it last year, but it's a much better PSV, isn't it?
And
even the goals, like you say, they take the lead with Matondo.
Mm-hmm. What's happened to him, by the way? Why is he now good?
I don't know. And then Luke de Jong, just even... I mean, I sort of said it, I alluded to it in the Rosenborg tie. Like, see, when things are going for you, it's great. But the minute that, like, it comes off de Jong's shoulder, and Suter just gets out jumped really easily. At least I think it was John Suter. So that's quite pleasing, if nothing else. But
exactly. Then
Hibs, what do you think of Hibs?
Listen, I think it was a Celtic fan on Twitter said something along the lines of, it was really funny to watch the Hibs support get right up and cheer as soon as they were pressing, pushing, and they managed to tackle the ball against Aston Villa. And then Aston Villa jogged and got the ball back. And then we're just like, right, okay, yeah. I mean, it felt like two different. Like it felt like aliens playing against normal people. Like, it was unbelievable. Digne just was doing whatever he wanted in that.
What about John Collins' comments saying that Digne was a player for Martin Boyle to get at? What is he? Only 50 caps for France. Only moves at PSG, Barcelona. Played for some of the biggest clubs in the world. But I'm sure a bloke from Dundee or Aberdeen or wherever the hell he's from can get the better of him. Just honestly
crazy.
You can see why he's not worked in football since Ronnie Dyler got the boot. Jesus.
Exactly. Like, I mean, we obviously will be releasing this on the day that Hibs play in Birmingham. And at least they get a day out.
Oh, it'd be a great laugh for the fans. It'd be a great trip.
Though.
Yeah, I'd be heading right back up the road straight after the game's done.
Yeah, not good at
all.
Don't
care what time we get back at.
And then that's us out. I'm telling you now, we're no winning over there. What is it? They've not lost a home game in 14 months, and they've not lost a home game by more than one goal in 19 months.
Wow.
Like,
I didn't even know that. I genuinely didn't even know that. That would have been decent for the quiz, but well, it wouldn't because you've just
because I can it. It would be decent for the quiz.
No, it would.
But yeah, like,
you know what I mean. That's a ridiculous record.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I know they've been like, because I saw against opposition away from home, they're not amazing. They either draw or tend to get beat,
and
or
their stadium
only win by one goal. That ground though is meant.
That intimidating atmosphere. I mean, I think they dub it the Black Hell with all the pyro and just the craziness going on. So. Yeah, good luck to any Hearts fans over there.
We've got Alan Forrest walking into that. It'll be fine.
Oh dear, what a laugh. Certainly giving ourselves a mountain to climb, and that was the case after the first leg.
Started off class.
Oh, it did, but it goes to pot. Let's just get into it. Frankie McAvoy.
Thank fuck we can end all this, by the way. That's a positive.
Can I just say, this pish patter can finally be put to bed. It'd be brilliant if Hearts have a tweet lined up for the minute that we get beat that Frankie McAvoy is quote unquote sacked and Stephen Naismith is our new manager. I really hope the admin's got that lined up. Because I'm sick of hearing it from opposition fans.
I don't think we're going to acknowledge it, by the way. I just think Naismith will just start doing everything. He'll just start doing press conferences.
No, I think we will. Just to have folk shut up.
I genuinely don't think we'll say
no?
No. I think it'll just be, oh yeah, we've just got the technical director now doing all the press conferences. Because I don't think McAvoy will get sacked or anything. I just think it'll be like, oh yeah, he's still part of the coaching team. It's now just Naismith.
A demotion and promotion? Can you have that?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. The management team.
Yeah, there we go.
Named 4 changes from the team that defeated Partick Thistle at Tynecastle the weekend prior in the League Cup. Stephen Kingsley, Nathaniel Atkinson, Cammy Devlin and Liam Boyce replaced Odell Fire, Toby Civic, Callum Neuenhoff and Alex Lowry, which meant that Hearts lined up as follows. Xander Clark in goal, a back four of Nathaniel Atkinson, Frankie Kent, Kai Rolls and Stephen Kingsley from right to left. Kenny Vargas on the right, Barry Mackay on the left, and Alex Cochrane joining Cammy Devlin in the middle of the park. Liam Boyce supporting Lauren Shankland in attack. Now, what do you make of this team, McIver? Because to me, I'll be honest, when I was at the Boozer and I saw this come through, I was rather confused. I thought we'd gone to a back five and then I was immediately worried.
So, I don't know if I just immediately remembered the last half an hour of the Rosenborg game, but as soon as I saw it, I was like, that's Cochrane and Devlin as a 2.
I then thought the same and thought...
But you had that initial worry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, there's various established midfielders that would probably come into that bill. Like, Alex Cochrane's had that half hour, yeah. But Andy Halliday's sat on the bench. Toby Civic has played there more than Alex Cochrane has sat on the bench. In Denham, yeah, okay, it would have been a gamble, but he was fine against Rosenborg. I don't know. It was a weird one to me, but I was pleasantly surprised with Cochrane's performance. Actually.
Well, I thought he was great, so I was just like, yeah, like I'm fine with this going forward, because it was very interesting to see how commanding he was. Like, we often see that in terms of just his personality with fans and stuff. He's very vocal on a pitch. He likes kind of getting up opposition and stuff like that. But
I love him.
I've never really seen him dictate play, because I mean, how can a wing back or a fullback really dictate play? Unless you're Kieran Trippier.
I'm not being funny. Do that. Most of the time, it went through him last season anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
That's as much as it, like, in terms of dictating play. He was one of our main outlets last year.
That is a very good point. But I was really impressed by the fact that you could tell the guy I was sat beside, me and him were talking the whole time, and especially in the first half, you could just see Cochrane like telling players where to go, and we were by far the better team in that first half as well. So it was really good to see Cochrane being there. However, I guess it speaks to a bigger issue at the club, that if Peter Haring isn't fit and Neuenhoff isn't fit,
that's what I was alluding to.
We're reliant on a left back playing centre mid, because bluntly, Andy Halliday shouldn't be there at all. It's fucking he's still here.
He's evidently been bombed.
Yeah, Halliday. Like fully justified. I'm fine with that. Civic, I'm more than happy to play in the middle of the park, as I've said before. But again, it's not his natural position. It's not where he's.
I still think Halliday's got something to offer. I do. I'll be honest.
I'm just sick and tired of this whole situation now. I'm just like, how is this where we are still 3 years on? Like, I just don't care anymore.
See, I'm sort of like that with Haring, and you're like that with Halliday.
But Haring's good, and Haring
is slower than a week in the jail.
That doesn't. And Andy Halliday's this wee speedster, is he? That's just.
I'm not saying he's a speedster, but even I'm quicker than Peter Haring.
I don't think Halliday's any faster than Haring. I don't think he's any
I'm not
faster.
Buying that for a second.
Haring moves the ball quicker. Haring's more composed in the ball. Haring can keep a ball. Haring can dictate a play. Halliday can't do any of that.
Haring's clumsy.
No, he's not. What he is good at just maintaining a ball, and then will occasionally go, right, I need to pop it off here, but then there's not an option. And then he kind of goes, oh, okay, what do I do here? And then he might get nicked. Halliday just boots a ball off into play and never does anything of worth for the last 18 months.
I'm not having that. I've got to be honest. If you were to look at our squad, I think at the back we're decent enough. Could maybe do with a left-sided centre half. I think from middle to front we're fine. Really, I'd like more depth. But in terms of options for Scottish Premiership, you're not getting much better than Liam Boyce and Lauren Shankland as your focal two. Decent in the wide areas, decent enough. But midfield, like, how have we not addressed the issue in the middle of the park?
I know we've been unlucky. I know we've been unlucky in terms of, as I say, Haring had a really good start to the season and then got an injury that looked horrible against Kilmarnock. But apparently he is all right and he's going to be back in a week or so. But it looked worse than it clearly was. Neuenhoff's arrived. I think has done well in the cameos that we've seen him, but then has picked up a calf strain. So it's like, right, okay, well, that's unlucky. Benny is fucking Benny, and in this situation where we just don't know if he's ever going to play a game.
No, I don't know.
So as a result, it's like
George Grant.
Yeah, but fuck it, he's surely away. I know we've only got 2 days left.
He's still working here. This is what I'm getting to. Like, how have we got this so drastically wrong?
Yeah.
We spent big dough on Grant, spent big dough on Keogh. Snodgrass obviously had his cameo and looked decent at the start, then fell off a cliff. Like, why have we not addressed this area?
The problem is we're now reliant, at least in the very, very short term, and by that I mean the last couple of games and potentially the next couple of games, on out-of-position players or a relatively unproven youngster.
And out-of-position players is an issue that we've had for ages.
Yeah,
square pegs and round holes. It drives you mad.
Just mental. But generally, with the team, I was happy with it. I was like, that's a good team. That's probably, considering the personnel that we have available, the best team.
I was going to say as good as we could have hoped for then.
Yeah, pretty much, to be honest.
Yeah, and the start was as good as we could have hoped for as well.
It definitely was.
5 minutes. I mean, wow. Their fans, can I just say, were absolutely nuts.
Yeah, they were mental.
So if you are going over to Greece, please be careful.
Actually, in all seriousness, because Hearts put that in their state, like the wee information. It genuinely is like, it isn't just Fiorentina where everyone's like having a laugh now. For any Hearts fans listening to this who are going out, please be all right, because fucking hell.
Yeah, that gives me the fear. But the home leg, it didn't take long. 5 minutes for the encounter to become a lively one. Kenneth Vargas, that little Raj bastard. He's got cult hero vibes already. Intercepts on halfway, instantly gets the afterburners on. The rapid Costa Rican enters the box, tripped by Stefan Schwab, the POAK skipper, and eventually McIver, after minutes of nervousness, anxiety, and waiting, the referee consults VAR and points to the spot. One refreshing thing for me at the start of this season is, no matter what level you're at, I mean, I obviously go to junior games every Saturday, up all the way up to the Scottish Premiership, even up to continental competition. Refereeing and officiating across the board is rank rotten.
Like, you've just reminded me that it was their captain who gave this away, and he didn't get booked. And then he gave about 8 fouls away during the game and only got booked right at the fucking end. Like, it's an embarrassment that he's not given that as a penalty in the first instance. Just,
you don't see that.
Like, it's fucking mental. Vargas does so well using his pace and just getting it, like fully just going, my only thought here is to drive into the box. I'm not thinking about being fancy.
That's your first thought as a wide player. That's exactly what I want to hear.
Yeah, definitely did amazing. And it's just such a blatant penalty. It's mental. And then he spends ages looking at the monitor trying to justify his decision, which is an idiotic thing. But finally, he gives it correctly. But we might as well speak about it now. Just why is it every single game? I've not seen the Dundee game, as I say, so I don't know what the officiating performance was like then. It doesn't sound like it was that bad, considering we were just bad. But apart from that game, then, every single game we've had this season, it seems to be getting worse. Like, it was unbelievable on Thursday night.
So bad. I think the Euro referees crank it up an extra notch as well. I don't know if it's because we expect them, because of the level that they're operating at, to be so much better. But they're just miles off it. Miles off it.
I totally understand that the Scottish game's a much more physical game. So challenges that we see every single week, and our refs allowed to go. Some refs won't give that, and on the continent it wouldn't go. It'd probably be a foul and stuff like that. But there's a massive difference between the Scottish game being a bit more physical and guys just falling over and getting fouls against us for absolutely nothing. I know it's much later, but that one with Vargas is like the most pathetic thing I've ever seen. I've heard, I think it was it Rory McLeod or Lee McLeod on commentary?
For the BBC, it would have been, yeah.
With that challenge, that one, the second half, where Vargas goes down, we've seen Jordan's footage where Vargas goes up and shouts in his face and stuff like that. That one, McFadden just laughs. McFadden just goes, "That's a joke, man." He out loud is just like, "That's a disgrace of a decision."
I've forgotten about that instance as well. I'm not even taking any note of that. That's one of my favourite things I've ever seen.
About 4 Hearts players running over and screaming in his face.
Oh, literally one of the nearest things that I can see. Exactly, because it was over the main stand side, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then they just instantly all go over. I was like, yes, please chin him.
But the referee did come to the right decision, and we get the penalty
eventually. And Lawrence Shankland has the ball on the spot. Can I just say, the penalty was given at about 4:55 minutes. It's 8 minutes by the time he steps up. My pal had a couple quid on Shankland to score first and it to be within a particular time frame. He was sweating with his bet in case it didn't come in.
I'm not surprised.
But steps up, does what he does. And look, I've alluded to it there in terms of Boyce and Shankland being, that focal two players we can hang our hat upon, although Liam Boyce really does need a goal. If Hearts sell their number 9, McIver, in this transfer window, unless it's to the Saudis for ridiculous money, even then, I don't think I'll be all that impressed.
If either of them go, and by go, I mean either are sold or get an injury, that means they're out for anything longer than I'd say a few weeks, we're fucked.
Yeah, we're done for.
We are, again, you're speaking about how are we in a position where we still don't have a functioning midfield. How are we still in a position where we're relying on two players? Like, listen, I've been, and I'm sure you'd be the same. And
I'd even argue 3, and it's only now that we've signed Kent to replace Halkett.
That's fair.
We've got that no nonsense. Previously, it was 3.
Yeah, it was 3. I'm sure you're the same as me and most people listening. We've all been very impressed with Kenny Vargas. So that's
I liked him.
He looks good in terms of a Ginnelly replacement, but he's clearly not a goal scorer, as we've heard. That he's very much the creative force to link up with stuff like that.
It's Tagawa that's a curious case, isn't it?
Again, I'm very much giving Tagawa what happened with Oda at the end of last season, where I'm giving them plenty of time to bed in. It's a completely different culture.
No, I'm not writing them off. Don't get twisted. I just mean in terms of like
the worry is if we have to just be like, it's you or nothing, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because like we've so rarely had it that
we were that competent centre forward up front.
Where it just feels like, oh, he's got the ball, he's probably going to score.
Yeah. I mean, look, don't get me wrong, I was nervous as I always am with a player heading up to the spot, but with Shankland, you feel confident. You do. You're waiting for the net to bulge.
And also, I'm saying I've said this for 2.5 years, 3 years now. Liam Boyce is our best player. Liam Boyce is our best player by a fucking mile. Shankland obviously is a different best player, if you know what I mean. Like, Shankland's the most important to the current setup because it's like, without him...
But Liam Boyce is our best footballer.
Yes.
Yes.
When he went off, that was it. When apparently against Dundee, it was a very similar situation. It was just like...
Oh, when he came on, he elevates countless players' games.
It's unbelievable how intelligent he is, how he can bring others in, and it does give Shankland that freedom to just be like, oh, it's fine. If he gets it, I'll get it. It's all right.
This is kind of... I'm looking to be as positive as I can. If we, as we're expected to, get dumped out of Europe, and we're then going Saturday to Saturday, Saturday to Sunday, whatever, Boyce and Shankland fully fit both have to start each and every week.
Oh, that's just non-negotiable.
Without a doubt.
100%. And then all I wanted, I literally said it out loud, was like, and this is a word I'm going to say a lot tonight, have some composure. Just keep it tight.
Manage the game.
Yeah, for 2 minutes. Literally just be like, right, just scored. Nothing stupid. Just be calm. Don't do what we did last year against Zurich and in general European games where we just lose our heads in specific moments. Just keep it tight. Even I couldn't have predicted how quickly it would go wrong.
8 minutes gone. It's the perfect start, just like you say. However, the visitors look to immediately respond, and they're given the perfect opportunity to do so with what I can only describe as a moment of madness, which could be a running theme for this episode, if you will, McIver, like you say. POAK send a long ball forward. Kai rolls, heads towards the edge of the Hearts box. Frankie Kent appears to tackle, looks to clear. But their right winger, Andrea Zivkovic, who was phenomenal all night, I will say, latches onto it in an instant. Our big Australian centre half brings him down in the box after he sprints past him, and from where I'm stood, upper end, I can see it's a penalty kick. Clear as day, mate. Clear as day. Even more glaringly obvious than the one up the other end for Vargas.
Yeah. I don't know what he's doing. So I saw after the game, Neil McCann goes, I know what he's thinking, but you can't do that. I don't know what he's thinking beyond I need to stop this ball. But if his thought process is I need to stop this ball, so I'm going to slide when I'm behind him, then he should be dropped and shouldn't he play again?
Yeah,
it's like
baffling.
What on earth are you doing? And this is what I mean. Have some composure. Just I think his initial header away is actually quite good. I think Kent's clearance is quite poor, but it's kind of just
I think he's got. Go on.
Okay, you've tried to clear it in fair play. You have lifted it and it's got away, and it's just ended up at an opposition player. Fine. The fact that he can just run through everybody is insane. I don't know who's on that side and meant to be covering, but they aren't at all. And then
Kingsley,
probably Kingsley, who I thought he was all right.
Yeah.
Generally, I thought Kingsley was all right.
Considering the levels that we've become accustomed to recently, he was pretty good.
And this is what's so annoying, right? See, for the rest of the game, I actually thought Rolls was fine. I thought there was a couple of moments where he actually did quite well.
It's unbelievable how competent he looks to then just outright daft.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I think the header's got to go out for a throw.
Yeah, that's fair.
Go out for a throw, regroup, as you say, keep it tight for a couple of minutes, but fuck me.
Yeah.
I mean, instantly up the other end, and they're in.
And it's like,
what is that?
I think I don't know if more than most, but generally have been very supportive of Kai Rolls and full of praise for him and stuff like that. Because I think it's clear. This is what I mean. I don't think it's.
But we're also not blind to the fact that since the World Cup, he has dipped, McIver. Yeah. You can instantly, you can simultaneously back him and say, we want the best for him, because we do. He's a Hearts asset. Of course we do. But you can equally criticise and say, when it's Curtis Main bullying him at Tynecastle's, the one I always think of, and the defeats to St Mirren, here, he does have these moments where concentration just goes out the window.
Yeah, I disagree wholeheartedly with people who say he's just shit point blank. I'm like,
no, exactly.
No, he's not.
I mean, they were the first that were cheering when we offered him that 5-year deal.
Yeah.
And he was, outstanding for Australia and Qatar.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't have him both ways.
You don't play for a finalist team at the World Cup that gets through
they reach the quarterfinals or something like that?
I can't mind what it was. But basically, you can't get to that stage without being at least good at football. And he is. We've seen with Kent, he generally has improved again. Not to the levels he initially was, but generally. Brilliant. However, simultaneously, he needs dropped. He needs to have what happened to Sibic under Nielsen, where he gets dropped out of the team for a wee bit, because this is exactly what happened with Sibic. The spotlight's doing him no favours. Now, every single game, people are looking at him and panicking, and then that means he'll make more mistakes. So have Sibic come in, him and Kent have a few games together, and just go, right, Kai, pressure's off, get in the gym, get bigger, and just...
He's had the summer to do that. I know he needs some time off, but come on.
But just... It's doing him no favours, but he's simultaneously doing himself no favours as well with actions like that.
Can I ask you, I've seen some shouts for Stephen Kingsley to play on the left of a 2. Now, for me, that doesn't work.
No,
I'll be honest.
Like that at all.
But we don't have another left-footed centre-half.
I know.
So we've not got John Suter anymore.
Yeah.
Where you'd feel like he could get away with being on that left-hand side and take it with either foot because he is that good. Toby Sibic is not John Suter. Yeah. So I don't know who then plays on that left. Could Cochrane fill in there maybe?
No.
Again, no. Both are better as fullbacks.
Yeah.
On the left of a 3 if they absolutely have to.
Yeah, no.
But we are in dire need of another left-footed centre-half.
I'd be playing Sibic there personally. I totally understand that he's not left-footed, and I think that would be an
issue. And then you'll get fans that will instantly leap on his back when he's not, he doesn't appear comfortable. Do you know what I mean? There'll be instances where he won't feel comfortable with taking it on that foot.
Yeah.
And Hearts fans will, you know what they're like. They'll be throwing missiles and all sorts. I'm just saying, that is not good enough. That's not what we signed up for. The geezer's playing out of position because ultimately our only left-footed centre half has been having a couple nukes recently and needs taken out the spotlight, like you say.
Yeah. It's just, again, how are we in this position?
I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't know. In terms of other chances in that first half, Xander Clark's nearly caught out of his near post as Rafa Suarez overlaps Tyson from left back. Actually does well. But half an hour, what an opportunity we are presented with to retake the lead. And I cannot believe that this did not end up in the back of the net. Devlin crosses for Shankland, heads towards goal. Vargas then hooks towards Shankland after the goalkeeper parries. Shankland volleys towards goal. It breaks for Boyce, and he stabs towards goal, but it's somehow hooked behind for a corner, and I could not believe my eyes up the other end. I thought Boyce had just missed it, and the keeper had maybe saved it. But I thought, surely he's got to be tucking that.
I just think it's an amazing block, and a part of that Stramash where it's just like one of those moments where you sat going, how is that not gone in? Like 3 chances in quick succession, and it's all. And I guess you could argue it's just this is the step up in quality. You need to be able to take those chances, and just it's the guy gets hurt doing it, and it's just an unbelievable block.
I mentioned it. It's like all the finer details I spoke about with Rangers and PSV.
Yeah.
All these finer details need to go for you. It's the same as when we play the Old Firm. You need everything, absolutely everything. You need a perfect performance from both your players, the officials, everything to go in your favour.
And look, we got to this stage.
And it's fine margins. Yeah, exactly.
Devlin's goal goes sideways because it deflects. Like you need that moment, and we didn't have that.
Need that stroke of luck, and ultimately we didn't get it here. Alex Cochrane has a speculative effort which flies really high and wide after we have a penalty appeal for handball waved away. Not much in the penalty appeal, and there certainly ain't much in the strike either.
As soon as it bounced in front of him, I just out loud went, "Oh, for fuck's sake, he's hitting this!" And it did, and it was like, "Oh, Alex."
But I can simultaneously see why, because I don't think that anything else was on, and I think he's then wary of them breaking on the counter.
Yeah,
so
just go for it. Aye,
sack it. Like it's a once in a lifetime chance. I'm playing centre mid. Get it up here. If this goes in, it'll be amazing. But it was sadly anything but. However, half time, 1 apiece. Okay, we've shot ourselves in the foot.
Still the better team though. Still the better team by a fucking mile.
In terms of the performance, that was as good as we could have really asked for without being in a commanding position at the break, wouldn't you say?
And I think that's kind of the story of the night. You wouldn't think that was a team playing against a team who has double their resources.
No, but what I will say is it was made apparent that they're missing numerous first teamers. And
of course. But they've still got Tyson and all that.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. They probably should get the better of us still, but I do think, like, we're sort of talking about the second leg as well. I think that could go really badly wrong for us, given confidence at the weekend. Excuse me, and what have you.
Yeah, definitely. But in fact, you say that like they're missing big players. We had to play out of position players. We didn't have Halkett, didn't have Gordon. Like, we had a pretty big injury in the second half that I want to speak about because the most baffling substitution I've fucking seen in years. I just
talk about it now.
Right.
I mean, obviously,
I thought Mackay was useless when he was playing, and then somehow he was like the most important part of this fucking machine. And as soon as he went off, for the most baffling choice, when you've got Oda and Tagawa on the bench, and you bring on an out of position teenager who's been fine so far. And then did he do anything? Did Lowry do anything for the 36 minutes or whatever it was he was on the park for?
No.
Nothing. Listen, I totally disagree with the folk over the last few days.
I think he's 20 for what it's worth.
All right, okay, sorry, Alex. Sorry. Apologies. I totally disagree with this notion that we need to start looking towards the management team to be like, oh, well, what are we doing about that? No, shut up, man. We've generally, look at the season. Domestic, we've played 3, 1-1, drawn 1, lost 1. Yeah, the 2 that we've dropped points in are terrible, but still, we're 3 games. We're not Hibs. But
I just feel like even amongst our fan base, there's folk that are desperate for this to go tits up.
Like, listen, I disagree with that. However is happening in my head, I'm totting up all these terrible things that I hope are just irrelevant. And we sit here in February going, God, mind when they made that stupid subs, how we laugh now as we're currently doing class. But I worry that they keep ticking up, and I start to be like, oh God, what is happening? Because that decision ended the tie. Mackay, I don't think did much of any worth.
I thought he was at it till obviously what's come out has come out. I was thinking obviously he just. I thought he does. They fancy this tonight.
Yeah,
just
like
on that he's injured.
It was another big game that he doesn't turn up in. And it was just
that was going to be my initial question to you, just how annoying and frustrating is this? But it's just repeating the same things over and over and over and over.
But taking him off for Lowry was a terrible decision. I said it at the time, I was like, why is that the substitution? We've got two wingers on the bench. What are you doing? Who are both really fast?
I'll be honest. I think when we get to this game at the weekend, I think that's where we probably see him.
How do you mean?
I thought he was much better on the flank when Liam Boyce was on the park than if he's asked to play through the middle. But
did Lowry start on the left?
But no, he started centrally, did nothing, and then
he got moved across.
Vargas off.
Right.
We'll come to that.
We'll come to that. But basically, he was a waste of a jersey. And listen, I'm not going to be like, that's it now. The youngster is done. Like, no. But it's not his fault he was brought on. But it's like, you need to do something of worth.
And that just didn't arrive. However, I actually thought second half, we didn't kind of rest on our laurels. We looked to kind of instantly retake the lead. Alex Cochrane's free kick is headed down by Kent towards Devlin.
Good ball.
Great ball, great header. Don't know where on earth it ends up, but eventually falls for Stephen Kingsley and he blazes over. Then up the other end, Zivkovic cuts in and tries his luck, but thankfully it's straight down Xander Clark's throat. POAK then go looking for a penalty. Tyson eventually forces another great save from Xander Clark again at his near post. However, on 66 minutes, the next dose of heartbreak would arrive. Liam Boyce gets on the end of Xander Clark's long kick, slides through to Lawrence Shankland, who bends a wonderful effort into the top corner. Curling, postage stamp finish, but the flag's up for offside. And just after we think we've regained the lead, the officials pull it back, McIver.
I had no inkling that he was even slightly offside.
Neither.
I was just like in there going mental. That was like, this is fine. I have seen, however, he spoke to the BBC and Brian goes, do you know you're offside? And he goes, aye. As soon as I hit it, I knew I was off. That's why he doesn't really celebrate. He kind of just turns and waves his fist. Because he was like, oh yeah, I was just waiting for that. I knew I was off a mile. And it's like, right, Lawrence, well, get on side then. What are you doing?
No, just get under and boot it high in the sky, and then we all know exactly what's going on. I know, just taunting and teasing us. He's obviously seen that folk are watching it on the beeb, aren't they? These Saudi clubs and English clubs, and they're going, "Yeah, I'll just try and look good for them."
Again, I know it didn't mean anything, but just that from Boyce was amazing. I know Shankland's offside, but still, to just have that wherewithal to find.
It's so cool and calm, and it gets a bit fortunate with it coming off the massive defender, but he knows what he wants to do and just smooth operator.
And again, listen, fine margins. We could go 2-1 up. We end up going 2-1 down.
Well, yeah. Thanks for that.
All right.
I mean, yeah. Xander Clark's kick is headed on by Stephen Kingsley on 72 minutes before Vargas tries his luck from range.
Can we speak about Kenny Vargas? Because he was the main shining light. I fucking love him.
By all means, go on.
He is great. He's a wee nightmare for defenders because he's one of the wingers that he's the opposite of Mackay in his first year. He tracks back as much as he pushes forward. Mackay, that first year with Mackay was amazing, but you're always kind of like, oh, bloody hell, Cochrane's got loads to do because he's never going to track back. Vargas is everywhere. He harries everybody. He puts every possible defender under pressure. I'm not surprised he keeps getting taken off because the boy must be knackered by about the hour mark because he just runs constantly. Every single positive thing we did on Thursday night went through him or Boyce, and he's just great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I did higher French at school, but I want to sum it up in Spanish. And I will say that él es un vejete loco.
I got loco. What does the rest of it mean?
He is a crazy geezer. Which, when I replied to "This is my story" on Twitter, translated to "He's a crazy old man," and that's not what I was going for.
Well, "Crazy Old Man" is the title of this episode.
Crazy old man, or un vehete loco, you choose.
God's sake, man.
But no, he's top in the
wee eggs
I really do
class.
like him. Yeah. That neck tap, man. I'm going to get the same. If he fires us to Scottish Cup glory, I'm going to get it there.
I've got enough anyway, so I'll just add another one. It's fine.
Sorry, Mum and Dad, but Kenny's inspired
Your
me.
dad would be buzzing with it. Don't even lie.
My mum wouldn't, though.
No, probably
not. But as much as we're laughing and joking...
Enough happiness.
Yeah, we know what comes next. Oh, dear. The warning was there. Zivkovic, who, as I say, was a nuisance all night, again tried to get the better of Clark at his near post, this time to the goalie's left. Eventually, the officials give a corner. Thomas Murk, who comes off the bench, plays a 1-2 with Tyson at the corner. The Austrian then slips it to Zivkovic, who lets fly. And let's just be honest, it sends an absolute wonder strike into that bottom left-hand corner. Xander Clark has absolutely no chance. It's past him in a flash. And it's all too familiar a feeling around Tynecastle Park, isn't it, mate?
This happened against Kilmarnock. Killy got a corner, and Kyle McGuinness Kyle McGuinness was standing on the edge of the box, and they played it to him, and Kyle McGuinness sclaffed it wide. And every Hearts fan went, ha 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 ha, what a funny moment. And I went, why is there no one on the edge of the box in case there's a runner?
Almost like POAK have done their research and watched our games to then copy that, and what a wacky notion.
We spoke about it the other week. The first 7 games under Naismith at the end of last season, we always had an out ball from a corner, even if we were defending it. So Oda or someone was standing at the halfway line.
Why do we no longer leave anybody up?
Exactly. Because what that then does is if your keeper doesn't claim it, or if you don't clear it out of play, it means that you're almost guaranteed a second ball to come back into the box that you have to defend.
I'd send the Vejete Loco. Just leave him up there.
What is Vargas going to do defensively from a corner? What is Oda going to do defensively from a corner? What is Devlin going to do defensively from a corner? If you want Devlin back, stick him on the fucking edge of the box, because that was pathetic attempts.
Yeah, and then he can get out and just close it down. Yeah, I agree with that.
Do not have all 11 Hearts players in the box. I know, we all know how much I hate zonal marking, right?
Snap, retweet.
When at the start of this season, McAvoy went, we're going to have a mix of man and zonal, and it depends on the situation.
That is a recipe for disaster.
I've not seen man marking once from us. I've just seen zonal. So where's this situation that man marking is going to come up? And I'd like them to start coming up, please.
Is it because that there's no accountability in the dugout? We feel necessary to imply no accountability on the park as well.
Like, listen, it is some hit.
Oh, it's an absolute wonder goal. I mean, you could, again, it's right up the other end of the ground from me. An absolute beauty. It's one of them that, if I wasn't stood where I was stood, and I obviously wasn't as gutted as I was, you'd probably just give it a wee clap in appreciation, because it was a sublime strike.
But it's so easy to prevent that strike from not happening.
Of course it is. That's what makes it all the more infuriating.
Yeah, and especially just because I just think overall we were definitely the better side.
Yeah, just reeks as Zurich, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I don't even think we played as well as we did against Zurich as we did on Thursday, and it still ends up with the same result.
No, it's still hurt. And you sort of mentioned the AEK Athens game, like last week. Just Greek teams and 2 undefeats that just are agonising. Just, absolutely rank. No matter. Still, I mean, our attention turned to domestic matters. Obviously, the weekend's game with Dens to talk about. But first, we're going to go around the grounds, primarily because I don't want to keep depressing myself by talking about Hearts, so we'll laugh at some other teams instead.
We're in a rich position to do that.
The first of the 6 fixtures took place up in the Highlands. Ross County welcomed Rangers to Dingwall, but lost 2-0 to the Gers. Kemar Roof and James Tavernier James Tavernier's goal was a great goal,
class.
but other than that, don't really care. However, there was to be a shock in Glasgow's East End.
What the fuck is going on?
Celtic were 1-25 to beat St Johnstone. St Jobby. I thought they would absolutely batter them after the Kilmarnock catastrophe, but they were held by Stephen McLean's St Johnstone, who had 3 debutants, I might add, and ended 0-0. Don't know how. However, I made the prediction on our predictions podcast that Lee Johnson would be sacked as manager of Hibernian, and that was the case after just the 3rd league fixture as Livingston went to Easter Road and beat the Highveys 3-2 to come away with all 3 points, leaving him bottom of the table, the only side to have taken 0 points from the 3 matches. St Johnstone haven't even scored a league goal, and they're above Hibs. And Motherwell beat the all-conquering Killie. The Kilmarnock are human after all, despite taking the lead at Fir Park. The Steelmen got the better of them 2-1, so that's great, just before they come to Edinburgh and play us. You absolutely love to see that. And the other fixture on Sunday, St Mirren were denied the opportunity to go top of the Scottish Premiership. Did I really just say that? Yes, I did. As Aberdeen went to Paisley and claimed a controversial and lucky last gasp 2-each draw. McIver, obviously you didn't see our game. Have you seen any of the other Scottish Premiership action?
From my London hotel at midnight, watch Sports Scene for this podcast.
That is the level of commitment I'm after. That's why you're on board.
That's exactly why I'm fucking here. So, first of all, who gives a shit about the Rangers game? It was a good goal for Tav. Fair play.
Other than that, don't care.
Yeah. St Mirren are just good, and it's weird.
We've done St Mirren a disservice in our predictions, haven't we? We really have. You would not be surprised to see them finish top 6 again. What a job he's doing.
Wait now, I think I gave them to... I've got the predictions right here.
Oh, have you? Where did you put Killie? Did you put Killie in the bottom 6 at St Mirren's expense?
I put St Mirren 6th.
Fair play.
And Killie 8th, which is clearly not right.
I don't know.
You just had them the other way around. You had Killie 6th and St Mirren 8th.
And we've both got Motherwell 7th, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done St Mirren a disservice. I'd not be surprised to see them gate crash that top 6 again.
Yeah. But yeah, they look good. Aberdeen very lucky to get away with a point. That penalty in the 100th.
I was about to say, so the first goal, Johnny Hayes, no idea what he's doing. Does not intend that. And I mean, Miovski's pen, how lucky do you want to get?
Exactly. Fair play to Motherwell for taking down the Kilmarnock juggernaut. Of course, as you say, they do it just for the playoffs.
Absolutely typical, isn't it?
So that's some laugh. Did you see Steve McLean's interview after the game?
No.
Where he just can't believe it. He's just like, it's great. It's great. I can't believe it. Like, I'm so proud of them. Like, it's amazing. We just need to build. It's like he clearly did not expect it at all, which is really funny. Celtic are a different everything.
What is happening?
It's unbelievable how big a drop-off they've had already. I mean, they'll still put 12 past us in the next 2 games of playing against them.
Absolutely no doubt.
But they just look terribly different. Have I got any other games to speak about before the Hibs game?
No, I think you've listed them all off.
I am devastated that Lee Johnson is gone.
We were both firmly #Lee Johnson in,
yes.
But now he's Lee Johnson out.
In the last week alone, he was speaking about Formula One cars.
What about his post-match?
He walked out a post-match interview through a door in the side. Whoever that Sky Sports journalist was, absolutely fair play for not letting him get away with answering that question.
Amazing.
It's almost as if he makes the door appear by his own accord, because he's just standing in like the traditional thing. And I know they're just like things on a wall.
Just some brutal question, but it's got to be asked. Yeah. I must have watched it about 5-10 times.
It's the fact he just kind of goes, "Oh, okay, thanks." Like he's devastated. And
that's how I knew he was done, though. As soon as he gets taken away by a club official, you know he's getting called for a meeting. That was it.
This is how bad Lee Johnson was as Hibs manager, right? He didn't. I want to say this now. He didn't, but he almost made me feel annoyed on behalf of Hibs. Because it always to me felt like he thought he was doing Hibs a favour by being their manager.
Oh, 100%.
And it's like...
He was blaming absolutely everybody. He was blaming the fans for the defeat in Andorra.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you have done nothing of note in football, both as a player and as a manager, right?
I can't believe some of the clubs that he's managed. Genuinely, mental. It baffles me.
It's hilarious to me that he's managed both my team's rivals and been shit with them both. It's just, what a guy. What a hero. But just go away.
Jack Ross.
Yeah. Go away with your weird David Brent in real life idioms and all this part.
It's disappointing though, because it is box office gutted. From it. Yeah, exactly.
Because it means that they'll get their shit together. Because I think that's a no bad squad generally.
I know, but I don't know. Just you could watch his pressers with popcorn. You'd be entertained.
I'm fine with him, by the way, appointing Graham Arnold.
I was just going to ask you who do you want and who do you not want?
I don't want him to get McInnes because I feel like they'll eventually. I think McInnes would be exactly how Jack Ross was. They'll put up with him.
I think he'd do a better job at the back.
That's fine, but what I mean is they'll put up with shit style of football because it'll get them results. But the minute it starts to not get them results in say 18 months time, they'll turn.
I don't even think his football's that bad.
I don't think
Kelly it was, but Aberdeen, if you're given the more resources, like when he had that team of your Kenny McLean's, your Johnny Hayeses, your Adam Rooney's, Gary Mackay-Stevens, they had a bit of flair going forward. I think it's quite harsh the stick that he gets.
But I think that would be bad because I just think he'd make them competent at the very least, and it would just
if he did a job on Paul Hanlon and Lewis Stevenson at the back, then he should deserve a knighthood.
And obviously they've been linked with Cifuentes, which I think would be a great appointment for them, and I very much hope they don't do.
Lennon.
Everybody else I'm fine with. Literally every other name, in particular Neil Lennon, it would be the great, because again, this is what would happen, right? And I'm fucking calling it now. He'd make them good for 6 months. Right, he'd come in and he'd have an impact because this is what Neil Lennon always does. He comes in,
then he'd be disappointed when they don't want to go to that next level.
Fucking fake thing that he just says, and then they'll fall off an absolute cliff. So I'm fine with them doing all right for 6 months when they arrive, and they go, "See, it's working this time. We've finally got it clicking," and then it'll be a disaster.
Oh, it's a good laugh. I have to say, as much as I made that Johnson show, I did not see it after 3 games. I thought we might be the ones to sort of stick the knife in October.
I thought he would go because of the investment they've given. I was like,
exactly.
Christmas.
Wild, absolutely wild.
I didn't foresee them losing all 3 of their opening games, though. In fairness,
no, particularly when it's Livingston at home,
St Mirren at home, Motherwell away.
At home, and Motherwell. I'm not being funny.
Now they've got the hard games. They're back to back away against Aberdeen and Killie.
Oh, stinky.
Yeah.
And speaking of stinky.
Oh, God. Well, why am I saying, oh, God? I've not seen it.
Yeah, lucky you. I mean, I'll be honest. A couple of weeks back, the Kilmarnock game, I just read the report. And given I went on to Hearts TV and looked at the highlights, 76 seconds. I mean, I spend longer than that in the toilet. I mean, that is like all it showed was Luke McCowan's goal in about 4 different angles. It was literally like it was an audition for VAR. Say, look, we've got cameras everywhere now, so it's justified that you can stick in VAR. I mean, okay, I'll read the team how it's laid out. I'll read the report, and then we can move on.
Yeah.
So Hearts made 5 changes from the POAK defeat. Odell Ofaya, Toby Sibic, Aidan Denham, Alex Lowry, and Utaro Oda replaced Nathaniel Atkinson, Cammy Devlin, the suspended Alex Cochrane, Liam Boyce, and Barry Mackay. Meaning that they lined up as follows. It appears to be a 4-3-3 on FotMob. I personally thought it was a 4-2-3-1, but Clark in goal, back 4 of Ofaya, Kent, Rolls, and Kingsley. Denham and Sibic sitting with Lowry in front, Oda on the right, Vargas on the left, and Shankland up front. And the match report simply reads, courtesy of heartsfc.co.uk. Excuse me. 27th of August 2023. A second half strike from Luke McCowan inflicted Hearts their first defeat of the league season at Dens Park this afternoon, going down 1-0 to Dundee. Inflicted Hearts their first defeat.
That does make sense. It just reads weird.
Despite fashioning a number of chances, take your word for it.
I don't think that's true. I saw it at half-time in stats and we had one shot and it was off target.
Especially in the second 45.
Oh, okay. Fair play, Hearts. Fair play.
The men in maroon were undone by McCowan's ranged effort from 25 yards on a frustrating afternoon on Tayside. Hearts made 5 changes. Yeah, I've just gone through that. Both sides grappled for control in the opening exchanges. A wayward Bakayoko chance along with a Frankie Kent header over the bar, representing the two sides' best respective chances in the opening quarter. In truth, it was Dundee who fashioned the better opportunities in the first 45 overall. Yeah, no shit. Finlay Robertson's half-volley snapshot towards Zander Clark from the edge of the box after 25 minutes, the latest in a stream of promising Dundee moves. The D thought they had claimed the opener on the 32-minute mark when Jordan McGee, wouldn't have surprised me, forced the ball over the line from close range, but after furious Hearts appeals, the referee chalked it off due to Zach Robinson being in an offside position. There's not much more to come. Whilst far from being a vintage display for the boys in maroon in the first half, the second period was to bring greater fortune. Well, was it? The pack was shuffled at the interval with Cammy Devlin, Nathaniel Atkinson and Liam Boyce all being introduced to proceedings. It was a near pitch-perfect start as the game resumed, Boyce playing a key role as the Jambos landed the first punch after 47 minutes.
Why are they making this sound like we fucking ended up winning the game?
The Northern Irishman's inviting ball across goal, crashing off the knee of a home defender before spilling back off the post. Moments later, it was Alex Lowry's turn to have a go, displaying some lovely footwork before dispatching a lofted ball across goal again. This time, Kenneth Vargas was there to receive, and the Costa Rican's downward header was cleared off the line to the relief of the home support. Hearts kept carving out the chances, but nothing came off, with Dundee taking advantage as the clock struck 65 minutes. A slack pass was gobbled up by Luke McCowan, with the Dark Blues midfielder driving up the park before releasing a rocket from 25 yards past Zander Clark. Well, I don't think that's an accurate description at all. The game went on, and even with 5 minutes of added time, Hearts walked away empty-handed. That's it.
Why did they spend so much time speaking about 2 chances that were irrelevant in the game?
It goes on about the teams and 8,104 in attendance at Dens.
Like, just a disgrace. It's appalling.
You're on about the match report or the performance?
No, the performance. What are we doing?
Oh,
the goal is a joke.
Pitiful.
Why is Clark taking a short free kick there?
Thank you. Give it to a centre half.
Yeah, like,
if you lose it up in the abyss, then so be it. But don't invite the fucking pressure.
Why? Like, I genuinely don't understand the justification for it. I fully understand it if it's a long free kick and you're just like, oh, just everybody get up then now. I'll just take this and send it forward. Fine. But, like, is that you saying, I do not trust my outfield players to play a 5-yard pass? I will do it. And then it must be that he just fucking walked back.
It's not even that. Sprint back? It's the pass that we give in to Aidan Denham is a hospital ball at best anyway.
Yeah.
And as the match report rightly says, Luke McCowan's onto it in an instant.
Yeah. I saw...
Composure!
After the game, I saw Shankland make the point where he was like, listen, Denham's at fault, which is right? Denham is at fault. But it shouldn't get to him. There's about 3 other passes that could be made or go long. And yes, Denham makes a mistake, he takes a heavy touch, and he doesn't make the right pass. But that doesn't change the fact that we've inexplicably got a keeper taking a short free kick. Rolls gives it to him in a really poor position. And there's another experienced pro, both Kingsley and Kent, not telling Denham what to do. That's not, as Shankland said.
Give the young man some assistance. Yeah. Jesus wept.
Shankland clearly went through everybody and said it was just really naive and that it's unacceptable that experienced pros are making mistakes like that. Because it is, like, I think it's fair to say that Denham was at fault for the goal, but it's not his fault he was at fault.
Precisely. Yeah,
just
precisely.
Awful. I'm so good. And listen, this is the thing. I find it hard to be angry about it So I say, I was having like one of the best days of my life.
Yeah, I
as
was
it was
fucking
happening.
fizzing.
And I came out of the show at like the back of 10. And that was the first time I checked. I saw the score because the game finished just as the show was starting. So I saw the score and was like, I'm not even going to think about that. I don't care. So I knew what the score was. And I was standing at Wembley Park tube station and was just looking at Twitter and was like, oh, we must have been terrible. It's no one of them where it was like, oh, we played really well but didn't get a result.
No, we were absolutely dire.
No, we must have been shit. So I was like, I'm just not watching the highlights back. And then, as you said, the highlights of the goal anyway.
76 seconds, mate. Yeah. It literally shows the goal from 4 different angles. Like, unbelievable. Mental. So bad. Just like Norway with that beautiful third kit. Again, now the pink kit, we've lost our debut game in it. That we were meant to be looking pretty in pink, and the performance was pretty ugly in pink, is how I'd sum up the afternoon.
I like pretty ugly in pink as the title as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, pretty, and then you can brackets ugly in pink.
Yeah. Right like that.
There you go. We've given you options. You could have even the Un Vejete Loco as the display picture in said pink kit. But before we go, we're going to move on to the quiz. Thankfully, we can get this dire week over with.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I hate episodes when I'm hosting as well. I much prefer
you've smashed it.
Ribbing me, but thanks, mate. I appreciate that. But then I'll look at the quiz and you might not think the same.
Aye.
5 questions as standard. The 2 normal ones are your first ones. Then we've got a multiple choice, a true or false, and of course the who am I. Right. And the first one, I apologise if anybody from Clyde One Super Scoreboard is watching or listening to this, as I've totally nabbed one of your teaser questions from a couple of weeks ago, but I'm going to use it here because I thought it was a good one. Right. Since Hearts' promotion, they've had 4 players who have scored in the Scottish Premiership, but have also previously netted for a former European champion. Who are they? Now, I'll caveat this. They did it generally across Scottish football, and the example that they gave was Charlie Adam. So Charlie Adam has scored for Dundee, and he's also scored for Liverpool, the former European champion. We've had 4 players since our promotion that have scored for a former European champion. So get your thinking cap on and think who's previously won the European Cup or Champions League.
Wait a minute. By a promotion, do you mean in the COVID season?
Yeah, so since August 2021, since we've been back up.
And they've scored, and in their careers, they've played for a team and scored.
Yes, that has previously won the European
Right. Well, it's
Cup
no
or Champions League.
Shankland isn't it?
No.
Boyce isn't it?
Shall I give you a clue and try and narrow it down?
Yeah.
2 are no longer with us. 2 are currently with us.
Right. Christ.
I may have mentioned one earlier on.
Oh, fuck. I just could. Oh, I did listen to you enough. So, I'm going to guess because I might be wrong here. No, but they get class as European champion. Have they won it?
Go on.
What is what do you mean by European champions?
So a team that has won the European Cup or Champions League.
All right, okay. So that's
no. Go on. What were you going to say?
I was going to say Ginnelly because I was wondering if he came through Arsenal's academy, but then I was like,
Arsenal. No, I think he's just an Arsenal fan, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's just.
And they've not won anything. Yeah.
Right. Hold on. Who came through an academy? Right. It's no Cochrane because Brighton haven't won anything. Who did Sibic come through with? Did Sibic come through anybody? Right.
He's not one of them. I'll save the hassle.
Okay, thanks. Oh yeah, because they have to have scored for them as well.
Yes.
What?
A great question, this. I have to say. I think they gave 10
I disagree.
answers,
I get a shite.
and there was... Okay.
Right. I'm going to say 4 names, 2 of which who I just know have scored for Hearts.
Are you going to just gamble and just give me it all at once?
I have no thought process all into this.
I mean, we could have dragged it out the episode and made more fun for the listeners despite a torrid week, but you do you.
Don't care. Fuck he's all. So, I'm going with Gary Mackay-Steven. I'm going with George Grant. I'm going No fucking way.
For Nottingham Forest, yes. And
George
Hearts,
Grant played for Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
Didn't
Good.
even know that.
Like
right,
it.
he's one of them. I'm going to go with. Oh no, wait. So since our promotion, does that include the team that we got promoted with?
No, since we've been up
So
in the
since we've
Premiership.
been up, right?
Yeah.
Gary Mackay-Stephen.
No. George Grant, yes.
George Grant, yes. Who was the first name I said?
You said like Toby Sippick or something.
I can't mind who it is.
And Alex Cochrane.
George Grant, Gary Mackay-Stephen. I'm trying to think of any fucking Craig Gordon and Ross Stewart. I can't be asked. I didn't get anybody.
Oh, right. So George Grant's
It's
one.
my four names.
Also who played for Hearts and Nottingham Forest. Barry Mackay is another. Robert Snodgrass, Hearts and Aston Villa. And the final one, an unsung hero of the Perth to Paisley podcast, given our extended family Richard Cobb's obsession with him, is Benjamin Woodburn.
Who did Barry Mackay play for that won it?
Nottingham Forest.
I didn't know Mackay was at Nottingham Forest either. I didn't know Villa had won a European Cup. So this has been a disaster.
If you've done much better than Mackay with that question, let us know in the comments.
This is the thing, and I think I've said it previously in other shows. Growing up, I didn't care about anybody except Hearts. So, like, you know how a lot of people go from when we were wee, be like, oh, these big games in Champions League and all that. I just didn't watch it because I was just like, I don't care. They're not Hearts. So, like, I have fleeting memories of like.
So Istanbul, you wouldn't remember?
No, I don't remember. I didn't watch that.
That's the best game I've ever seen.
I don't care about Liverpool versus AC Milan. I'm 8. I'm playing Silent Hill 3.
Yeah, and maybe I was just a loser.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, because me playing a PS2 is so much cooler than
I'm glad you said it.
Yeah. Like, no, so I was just like, so I'm rubbish with stuff about like what clubs have won what and stuff like that, and who's played for that.
Sorry.
You should. I'm holding you responsible.
If any of our listeners did get those four, Richard Cobb will surely have guessed.
If he doesn't get Woodburn, what is going on?
Yeah, that's an embarrassment.
He doesn't listen.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't care about this. He just abuses the platform and just does not tune in otherwise.
He had a great Edinburgh Fringe show though, so fair play.
That's great. You're welcome for all the traffic, you prick. Second question. Hearts host Motherwell at Tynecastle on Sunday. Haven't even previewed any of the games, but we've dragged it out for long enough. But how many away matches has well gaffer Stuart Kettlewell lost in charge of the Steelmen?
I didn't get options for that. So I've got to that 5.
1. Away to St Mirren in the League Cup the weekend before last.
Has he played the Old Firm?
Yes, they drew 1 each at Parkhead.
Wow.
Not sure if he's gone to Ibrox right enough.
Fair play. Like the fact that he's played one of them
you're asking.
Lost.
Good question. Right. Third question. The Jambos have now lost their last 2 league meetings with Dundee. The D won at Tynecastle back in February 2022, but who netted their winner on that occasion? Was it A, Charlie Adam, B, Zach Rudden, C, Jason Cummings, or D, Danny Mullen?
I want to say Zach Rudden.
No. I thought I'd rope you in with guessing Jason Cummings. But I've roped you in with Zach Rudden because the correct answer is D, Danny Mullen.
I knew it wasn't Charlie Adam or Cummings, so it was a 50-50.
I thought that you guessed the time before where Cummings netted that equaliser, and I think we drew 1 each. Did John Suter fire us ahead with a brilliant goal from the edge of the box?
Yeah,
and then Cummings scored the equaliser that day. Right, next question. True or false? PAOK is the only Greek team to have more wins than losses in their European record. So we've got some big hitters. We've got Olympiacos, Panathinaikos, AEK Athens. You're going false.
I'm going false.
The answer is actually true. They have won 81, drawn 63, and lost 76 as of August the 3rd, 2023. Thank you, Wikipedia.
Yeah, play to them.
I've stitched you up with this quiz, mate. I'm sorry. I feel guilty.
Disaster. It's absolute.
But you can redeem yourself with the Who Am I? This is your specialty. This is your forte.
Can I make it to 20? Can I get 20?
Exactly. This is what we're aiming for here. Right. Okay. Despite being a summer signing, I didn't make my debut until a match in December against Dundee. I played once under the new Hearts manager before being allowed to leave in the following transfer window. I wasn't capped at full international level, but was at under 15, 17, 19, 20 and 21 level. I scored just once for the Jambos in a memorable victory for the Men in Maroon and went on to play in Greece, Croatia, Poland, Romania and Ireland. Who am I?
Jesus, I dickhead. Right, between what seasons did this man play for Hearts?
Okay, I'm just getting up their wiki. 2016-17 and 2017-18.
What were the countries he's played in, sorry?
I went on to play in Greece, Croatia, Poland, Romania and Ireland.
Ireland is completely throwing me there because, like, the rest of them are kind of like, all right, okay, you can have a weird stint in Scotland and then, like, piss about and all that. But, like, what? Why have you went to Ireland?
The silence is deafening.
I feel like I should ask nationality because I feel like clubs aren't going to help me here because I don't know most of the clubs that you've said. And I don't... Can I ask what nationality this person is?
You can. They are Polish.
Right. Hold on. Who was all Polish at that time? There was Augustin. Oh, did Augustin play then? I feel like we've done Augustin anyway, so it can't be Augustin. Christian Novak. He was there. He scored against Rangers under Cathro, but I don't know if that was his only goal. I also don't know if he played in Ireland. Because if he did,
that is the joy of this Who Am I, McIver.
Christian, why in Ireland, mate? Right. Very sorry. Can you read all the clues again, please?
Not at all. Yes, I can. Despite being a summer signing, I didn't make my debut until a match in December against Dundee. I played once under the new Hearts manager before being allowed to leave in the following transfer window. I wasn't capped at full international level, but was at under 15, 17, 19, 20 and 21 level. You know, this is for Poland. Yeah. I scored just once for the Jambos in a memorable victory for the Men in Maroon and went on to play in Greece, Croatia, Poland, Romania and Ireland. Who am I?
Right, the first clue's doing nothing for me because if it is Novak or Augustin, I can't remember when they made their debut. I assume they were both signed in the summer, but I can't remember if they quickly made their debut. The memorable goal, I don't remember Augustin ever scoring, but Novak did score against Rangers in that game where Walker got 2 under Cathro. And it was like, this is it. The Cathro is off to we're off and flying. And it was not off and flying. I don't know. Sorry, Novak or Augustin. I didn't keep track of your international career, and I don't know if you ever played with Lewandowski and Blaszczykowski and all that. And Piszczek. Mind
and Matty Cash.
Yeah, Matty Cash. Matty Cash is taking Piszczek's place. Shocking.
On fire at the weekend, was it Matty?
He was, in fairness. I had a terrible week in FBL, I know.
Mine was bang average at best, as they all are.
It was poor. And then I don't know if Novak played in Ireland. The Ireland thing is confusing me. Sure, right, here's my logic. I've narrowed it down to Augustin and Novak, unless I'm forgetting somebody big. And it's like, obviously it's him. My logic is, I think 1, we've used Augustin already, but 2, I feel like you would mention the fact that he now has a new interesting profession, and it's the fact that he's an MMA fighter now. And I think Augustin would be too obvious, and you're making me think, oh, Polish, it's Augustin. So I'm going with Novak.
Well, Danny McIver.
Have I got my first 0 out of 5, or have I got 20?
I knew as soon as you would ask about the nationality, I thought that I'd be in trouble. And thankfully for you, that is the case, as Christian Novak is the answer.
I've not got 0. Yes.
Yes, it was Christian Novak. Blasey Augustine, I think you've done, so I'm not gonna hijack your spotlight.
Thank you.
There was a part of me that was gonna go through each and every one today, but I've just simply not had the time.
That's so weird. I was thinking about making a document of doing that exact same thing this weekend.
Yeah, we'll get one made up.
Yeah.
But yes, Christian Novak, who is currently playing his football for Bohemians. They are number 4.
He's currently in Ireland.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think he signed, is it February 2023. There you go.
Bloody hell. Fair play to Big Crit. He was a handsome man.
Was a handsome man, yes. Left us to go to Panionios in Greece, in Greece rather. So
was the goal that he scored in that Rangers game?
That was his only goal for Hearts, yeah.
I
thought that would give it away as soon as in the poll. I was like, oh no. When you were talking about Augustine, I was thinking, yes. I roped him into thinking of Blasey Augustine, but no. I
was like, I mean, am I wrong with the other Polish players who were at us then?
I don't know. I wasn't wanting you to ask for nationality, so as soon as you did, I was like, oh, you bastard.
It was when you gave all those countries, I was like, right, I'm not going to know who went to any of them.
No, I suppose not. Yeah, I need to try and think what you're thinking to ask.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard.
It is hard.
We've both started off well with the Who Am I's this season.
Yeah, we have. We're on fire.
One. I've only got one wrong. You've got none wrong so far.
That'll come to an end next week, no doubt.
It's fine. We'll see. Well, we hope you have enjoyed this episode. We certainly have. Just talking about how great it is to be a Hearts fan right now.
It's nice therapy, though, isn't it? Let's be honest. Exactly. It gets a lot off your chest. I feel a lot better now. I can go to sleep a happier man now.
Well, if you have enjoyed listening to this therapy session, please let us know on all the socials. Perth to Paisley. If you have enjoyed it, please leave a review on your podcast platform of choice. It massively helps out. YouTube, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe as well. perthtopaisley@gmail.com if you want to fire us over an email. Adam, where can they get you on all the socials? Yeah, if anybody wants to fire over, links for Spanish dictionaries and more vocabulary for Kenneth Vargas, I'm all for it. And you can get me on all the socials at Adam T. Kendall. What about yourself, mate? I'm just going to be posting pictures of Christian Novak's lovely face at DMacIver22. We'll be back next week to discuss the fallout of Greece, the Motherwell game, the transfer window closing actually as well. That's another big aspect of it. Still won't have signed anybody else. Oh, well, we'll do nothing else. But it's fine. But in case we do, or if anybody leaves, we'll bring you all of that as well next time. So until then, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Greece is the word. Monetize!